welcome. Is everyone happy?
Yes.
Are you here for a laugh?
Yes.
And then maybe afterwards, maybe go for a drink?
Yes.
And then after drink, maybe go out to a disco?
Yes.
Maybe some of you even go out maybe on the pool?
Yes.
And that is why the West must be destroyed! Thank you. No, great to be here. Thank you. I tell you, I did a TV show. This is now the second series. Yes, can you believe it? Second series. And of course, for me, the best thing to come out of the last series, for me, obviously, was a passport. And my basic human rights. Very surprised to get the call from the BBC, because I usually do benefits for Al-Qaeda. It's true, they're terrible gigs. There's no walk-on music, there's no walk-off music, there's no music. It's all men. Can you imagine doing an evening which is no women, no booze, no music? It's a bit like spending an evening down Cliff Richard's throat. I'll give you a second for that joke to bed in a little bit more. But I'd say some amazing things have happened since the TV show went out. I had some people come up to me. This one guy came up to me and said, he goes, hey, mate, you're Omid Djalili, aren't you? And I was so shocked. I said, really? He goes, no, I'll tell you, mate, I've seen them all. You're my favourite comedian. And I was so moved because he was clearly working class. And I had to find out why I was his favourite comedian. So I had to ask him, I said, is it maybe I give you a window into an ethnic world you're not privy to? Is it maybe I do sometimes a bit of political humour undercut with Godzilla impressions and belly dancing that gives everything a kind of impish absurdity? He went, no, mate, you just got a funny face. That was it. Here's me trying to change the world through stand-up comedy. Well, all my public wants is just... And then someone else said, but the amazing thing is I never knew that people in the Middle East had a sense of humour. I said, well, I had to expect, look, every culture has a sense of humour. We just deal with it in a very different way. Like in Britain, if you don't like a comic, you heckle them. In the Middle East, we hang them. Which is very hard when you're just starting out as a comic, I should say. But we do have a sense of it. I just came back from Iraq. I was doing Jongleurs Baghdad. Great club. And I was on with this great Iraqi comedian called Jimmy Car Bomb. He's great. He took the roof off. He's absolutely brilliant. And people ask the most amazing things. People say, oi, is it true that in the Middle East, if you nick something, they chop your hands off? I said, what do you mean? Because, yeah, it's such a cruel culture. You nick something in a public square, that put your hands in a block, axe, they chop your hands off. I said, no, that's not true. If you steal, the hands are not chopped off, they're removed surgically and very humanely under medical conditions, you know. It's true, because I know this because I was in a cab with an Egyptian cab driver who claimed to be an ex-car thief. I said, were you ever caught? He goes, yes, twice. I'm sorry, mate, you just missed your turning. He goes, oh, forgive me. And the other question people say to me, because they say, do you have, like, a concept of the Samaritans in the Middle East? I said, what do you mean? Because if people get depressed and want to kill themselves, who do you call? I said, of course we've got the Samaritans. In the Middle East, we don't call it the Samaritans. We call it a recruiting centre. That's true. People call up saying, I want to kill myself. They go, very good. There's a bus leaving in 10 minutes. Can I have your waist size, please? I know, that's so wrong, but it's so funny.
Welcome, esteemed viewers, to the channel broadcasting from the heart of the Middle East to the whole world. You're watching Look Eastwards. Tonight, we have a brand new episode of Sheikhs and the City.
Talk about oil deposits. This one was a real gusher.
I don't care if it's oil or sex, as long as there's heavy drilling.
Don't be so crude.
Here I was, an attractive single sheikh with the Haraj's loyalty card. But I still had to ask myself,
Was sex about oil wells or about being well oiled? Did you get that down? Also, classic comedy tonight in Jihad's army.
Your name will go on my special Guantanamo Bay list. And when we win this war on terror, we're...
Ha! You are not going to win this war on terror.
Yes, we are.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, yes, we goddamn are!
Whistle while you work. George Bush is a twerp. Your name will also go in the book. What is it?
Don't tell him. Farukhzad bin Yuzaydin ibn Badir al-Haqqani al-Karachi Alabi Raseh.
Does he have like a nickname?
I've come to kill the sheriff. You the sheriff?
Actually, I'm a community support sheriff. No smoking here. It's a conservation area.
You gonna stop me, lawman?
No, I don't have the authority to stop you smoking. But I can send a telegram and fetch a proper sheriff, and ooh, you'd be in trouble.
And, how long would that take?
About 2 weeks.
Fetch your gun. It's killing time.
I don't have a gun. Not allowed.
I'm giving you 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna draw.
I'm giving you 5 seconds. I shall politely ask you to move on.
If I don't,
Then I'll ask you even more politely.
well then. I better get going.
And you there. No drinking in a public place. On the spot fine. In Britain, we are obsessed with rules and regulations because, of course, they're there to protect us. But there are some people who don't like this. It was interesting, the 7th of July bombers, they left a note saying, "We reject the rules, the regulations and the traditions of Britain, and all women are slags." That's what they wrote. Now, I don't know how many times they've been to Newcastle on a Saturday night. No, it has to be said. I'm just trying to defend women who don't wear anything on a Saturday night in Newcastle. That's just the way things are. They don't wear much, even unless it's -273 Kelvin. Absolute zero. Some women in Newcastle won't bother wearing their skin. That's not called pet. I'm gadding out in me bones. Put a bit of muscle round me neck, like, you know. But the rules and regulations are there to protect us. That's the way things are. For example, did you know a policeman is not allowed to go on strike? And in fact, if a policeman goes on strike, by law, he must arrest himself. That is an absolute law. And only in Britain this would happen. This happened about 5 years ago. There was a policeman in the dock saying, yes, on the 5th of the month, I decided to go on strike. And in doing so, I was lucky enough to be in the vicinity of the crime. I took my eye off myself for a second and I was off. I gave chase, but I was too quick. I later apprehended myself. What do you think you're playing at? I asked myself. I think you know the answer to that one, I replied, a bit too cocky for my liking. To avoid any more trouble, I decided to cuff myself. I put my hands behind my back, and in doing so, I realised I couldn't reach the handcuffs. So I released my wrists. It was that moment I saw my opportunity, and I escaped. I gave myself up at the police station, and in the cell, I made sexual advances towards myself. Which were gratefully received.